So this is it, I say goodbye to this chapter of my ever-changing life. And there's mistakes, the path is long, and I'm sure I'll answer for them when I'm gone. So when the day comes and the sun won't touch my face, tell the ones who cared enough that I finally left this place that's been so cold. Look in my face, all the stories it will tell I can't erase. The road is long, just one more song, a little something to remind you when I'm gone, when I'm gone.
But Zintelli ain't just obsessed with her, he's making moves of his own. Anthony Sessa knows him from KC. They worked together once, a job nobody talks about. Now they're both in Brooklyn, predators circling the same kill.
Is paved with good intentions, so they say, and some believe that no good deed goes unpunished in the end, or so it seems. So when the day comes and the sun won't touch my face, tell the ones who care enough that I finally left this place that's been so cold. Look in my face, all the stories it will tell I can't erase. The road is long, just one more song, a little something to remind you when I'm gone, when I'm gone.
He don't raise his voice, he don't move, he just nods once, real slow. Argument ends right there. They saw it, this kid had gravity. Now he walks the road like it's his own stage.
And there's mistakes, the path was long, and I'm sure I'll answer for them when I'm gone, when I'm gone.
Bambi's Twisted Tales, The Vow and the Vendetta, Book 2, Blood for Mercy. The Catskills taught silence. Pines whispered where men once shouted, and St. Catherine's Convent held its daughters tighter than any Sicilian father. Giulietta Belladonna, now Sister Mercy, lived there with a face pale as candle wax and hands raw from scrubbing stone. The sisters called her holy, but holiness don't burn like rage does. Every candle she lit was for Romeo Valentini, the boy who should have lived, the vow that should have lasted, the ghost that never left her. She wrote letters she never mailed, one to her father, cursing his pride, one to Romeo, promising she'd never stop mourning, one to herself, reminding her she wasn't dead yet. At night she walked into the woods, pulled a pistol from her habit, lined candles on a stump, practiced steady in her hand. Each flame she snuffed was a face, Tibiano, her father, every faceless man who'd signed Romeo's death. The bells tolled mercy, but Giulietta whispered a different prayer. Lord, forgive me. Tomorrow I pray with bullets. Maddalena died, and death called Giulietta back to Bay Ridge. The funeral packed the church with black coats. The Valentinis glared from one side. The Belladonnas bristled from the other. Don Salvatore sat stone still, Giovanni Valentini across the aisle, their eyes like knives. Priests sweated. Rosaries rattled. The whole place smelled like incense and gun oil. Then, bang. A single shot cracked the air. Pews splintered. Old ladies screamed. The choir scattered like pigeons. When the echo faded, 3 men were bleeding on the marble. 2 Belladonnas, 1 Valentini boy not yet 20. The truce, already hanging by a thread, snapped. Maddalena went into the ground, and with her, peace. Giulietta whispered under her veil, "So it begins." He walked into Brooklyn like he owned the place. Carlo Ventresca, cream suit, silk tie, smiles smooth as poison. They called him Il Diavolo in seta, the devil in silk. He'd carved his empire in Kansas City, but came east when blood money started looking thin. Don Salvatore welcomed him, desperate for muscle to keep the Valentinis in line. But Giulietta knew Carlo. Years ago, when she was too young to see the trap, he whispered promises sweet as wine and left scars she never forgot. Now here he was, shaking her father's hand like Judas kissing Christ. At Maddalena's wake, across the candles, he tipped his hat. Lips curled, words mouthed in silence. Mercy, long time no sin. Her stomach turned. This war wasn't just Belladonna against Valentini. It was Giulietta against her past. Don Salvatore thought he had a plan. Marry Giulietta to Carlo Ventresca, seal the families in silk and rings, buy peace with his daughter's chains. Giulietta wasn't having it. She met in secret with Nino Valentini, Romeo's cousin. Young, reckless, grief in his eyes. "Help me stop this wedding," she whispered, "and I'll help you bury every man who signed Romeo's death warrant." Nino gripped her hand. The pact was sealed. The wedding wouldn't be a union. It'd be a battlefield. St. Lucia's brimmed with lilies and lies. Guests filled pews, priests muttered prayers, and Carlo Ventresca waited at the altar, cream suit gleaming. Don Salvatore sat like a tired king, believing he bought salvation with his daughter's soul. The doors opened. Giulietta walked down the aisle. Not in white, in black, no veil, no roses, just a pistol in her hand. She raised it at the altar, whispered, "This vows for Romeo." The shot split the hymn. Carlo's smile snapped, guns thundered, candles toppled, saints fell from their pedestals, pews cracked under fire, blood spread like spilled wine across the marble. By dawn, half the family tree was dead. Giulietta vanished into smoke. Some swore she fled north. Others swore she stalked the docks, pistol in hand, hunting the devil in silk. The night of fire lit the fuse. Valentini struck at the docks, torching Belladonna crates. Belladonnas ambushed a poker game in Sheepshead Bay. By week's end, 12 men were in the ground. Nino Valentini rose fast, gathering the young and reckless. Giulietta shadowed him, whispering strategy, pointing targets. To the streets he was the face of vengeance, but behind him stood her hand, steady as ever. Carlo Ventresca played smarter. He didn't dirty his silk. He brokered deals, bought judges, leaned on Salvatore, and slowly the devil in silk built himself into something bigger than either family. The war wasn't just blood. It was power. Brooklyn bloodlines. Bambi Palermo, daughter of Frankie Palermo, the Brooklyn boss who got clipped outside a candy store. She saw it happen. The moment the light went out of her father's eyes, the night she stopped being a kid. That scar never left her. She grew under the wing of her godfather, Giovanni Goku D'Angelo, taking lessons meant for soldiers, not daughters. Her brother Nick. He tried to protect her, but Bambi didn't need a shield. She was learning to fight her own wars. Her blood tied her to Kansas City early. That's where she met Christian Zintelli, older, dangerous, a devil in silk who branded her soul before she knew what it meant. Zintelli was her first love, her first poison, and her oldest ghost. But Bambi played a double life. To the streets, she was Frankie's daughter. To the bureau, she was an undercover agent. Down in Mexico, she ran ops with David Lopez, posing as man and wife in cartel country. It was supposed to be pretend. It wasn't. The line blurred, and when the mission ended, nothing between them was the same. And through it all, there was Uncle Mikey, the Hammer Palermo, Frankie's brother, the last of the old school enforcers. A man who never missed when it mattered. For years, Mikey kept to the shadows, retired but never gone. When Bambi started making moves, when Zintelli's name came creeping back and Rizzo started flexing his rackets, Mikey stepped out of the dark. He was muscle, mentor, and a reminder. The Palermos don't bow, they hit back. Bambi Palermo's motivation ain't greed or fame. It's survival. It's legacy. It's the promise she made on that bloody sidewalk. The name Palermo would never die easy. Brooklyn Bloodlines, Season 2, coming soon. Don Salvatore aged 20 years in 2 months. His soldiers bled, his allies wavered, and whispers grew that he'd lost his grip. Giulietta confronted him one night in his study. "You sold me for peace," she said. "I sold you for survival," he rasped, "and still we bleed." "You sold me to the devil." Salvatore's hands shook on the desk. "If I hadn't, Giulietta, you'd already be dead." She leaned close, eyes like steel. "No, father, because of you, I'm already a ghost." It came to a head at the waterfront warehouse. Neutral ground turned into a trap. Ventresca stood with his men, cream suit spotless, smiling like a man signing contracts. Giulietta stepped out of the shadows with Nino at her side, pistol steady. "Carlo Ventresca," she said, voice like stone. "For Romeo, for every vow you turned to chains, for every life you bought in silk." Carlo smirked. "Little mercy, you think Vendetta makes you holy." "No," she said, "it makes me free." The guns roared. Nino's boys lit the rafters with fire. Belladonna loyalists turned. The warehouse became an inferno of bullets and betrayal. Giulietta chased Carlo through smoke and flames, found him at the pier, silk jacket stained with someone else's blood. He turned, knife flashing. They fought in silence, but for the hiss of fire and the crash of waves. Finally, Giulietta drove the blade home, steady, deliberate. His silk turned red. Carlo Ventresca's smile died on her shoulder. When dawn came, the warehouse was ash, the truce was dust, and the streets of Brooklyn whispered a new name, La Vedova. The widow, Giulietta Belladonna. She walked away from the docks with her pistol at her side, veil gone, face bare. The vendetta was finished, the price was paid. But she wasn't coming back to the convent. She wasn't coming home either. She was something new now, neither nun nor daughter, neither bride nor ghost. She was the widow, and the city was hers to haunt. The moral love makes vows, pride digs graves, vendetta don't quit till the bloodline does. Giulietta Belladonna buried love, buried family, buried the devil in silk. She took vows in fire, in blood, in silence, and when it was done, she walked away alive. That's the lesson, kid. You can survive vendetta, but you don't come out clean. You come out changed. You come out a ghost with skin. Forget Verona. This ain't Shakespeare. This is Brooklyn by way of Sicily. Bambi's twisted tales, the vow and the vendetta. Blood for Mercy takes the world's most famous love story and drowns it in red sauce and gunpowder.